Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kristi. I am an Ivy League trained PA who teaches you why law of assumption is actually rooted in neuroscience, and practicing conscious manifestation is simply deliberately using your brain's natural functions to your advantage. Let's take the woo-woo out of manifesting, shall we? And first things first, before we get into any education content, I gotta update you on the Princess Treatment Diaries, obviously. So these back here are from Boo Bear. I am a musician. I've talked about this in lots of my vlogs, and I play in an orchestra. We had an orchestra concert last weekend, and Boo Bear wanted to come. So he came. He had never been to anything like that before. He is not a musician the way that I am a musician. He's like a campfire guitar player, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't read music. He doesn't do anything like I do. So this was entirely new for him. And I had another friend there that surprised me with her family. They showed up and they brought me flowers, which was so sweet and so unexpected. And I saw him there and I was like, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to come. They brought me flowers. It was so sweet. He was like, oh, I should have brought you flowers. And so a couple of days after, he delivered this giant hoss of a bouquet. Like, she's huge, probably the biggest bouquet of flowers I've ever gotten. I'm also going to Cuba next week, which is definitely a manifestation. I have wanted to go to Cuba for a very long time, and he is doing everything he can to help me get prepared for my trip. He bought me a pair of headphones. He bought me like a nice pair of headphones, a nice pair of Sony headphones. He bought me an international like plug-in adapter, and he is generally being the living embodiment of the provider man that I have been manifesting since I learned about the law of assumption. So chef's kiss to the Princess Treatment Diaries and law of assumption. This is going to be a get ready with me. I am going to meet a friend for apps and live music in a couple hours, and so I wanted to record some footage while I'm getting ready. I have no skincare on my face, so the first thing we're going to be doing is skincare. As a PA, I am obsessed with dermatology and cosmetics, and so even though I don't work in that field any longer, I used to work in hair transplants and other cosmetics, I'm still very interested in my skincare. So first thing that I'm going to do is salmon PDRN. This is the Medicube. They come in like little ampules, and I got these because I'm going to be traveling and I thought it would be convenient to have like a little ampule per day. So we're going to start with that. And today's topic is going to be how literally everything is working in your favor. Absolutely nothing that happens in your reality is happening to prevent you from getting anything you want unless you believe it is. This is the law of assumption, right? We are talking about how your assumptions create your reality because the reticular activating system is a filter that only allows you to see according to your beliefs and desires. So if you tell the reticular activating system that you are going to be buying a car and that's important to you, you're going to start seeing that car everywhere because it is revealing the presence of that car in your reality, right? So the only meaning that anything has is the meaning that you give it. Everything that happens to you in your 3D reality is neutral until you give it an assigned interpretation. Neville Goddard calls this the facts of the matter versus the truth of the matter. And no matter what the facts look like in your reality, you could lose your job, you could break up with your spouse, you could have a medical emergency. There's all sorts of facts that could occur in your 3D reality that would be very easy to the undisciplined mind to interpret as negative. But not you, because you understand the law of assumption. You understand that the only meaning that anything has is what you give it. Everything is neutral until you give it meaning. And I hear this discussed frequently in the context of like the things that happen to you that feel bad aren't bad. Like, yes, that is absolutely true. You need to decide that the things that happen to you in your life are never bad. But I want to also encourage you to give more credit to the good things that you see, because then you will start looking for more good things. Your reticular activating system will see that that's important to you. I'm putting the rest of it on the back of my hands because we're not getting old lady hands up in here. So if you are hunting the good stuff, if you are being grateful for any small or big good thing that happens in your life, you're gonna start to notice more and more good things. Next, we're gonna use the snail mucin. If you've been here at least once, you know that I'm obsessed with this. And the more you notice the good things, the happier you're going to be. Like, doesn't it make you happy when you notice something good? Like, oh man, that totally worked out for me. Doesn't that make you happy? The happiness that you want is easily accessible if you are looking for things to be happy about. I'm gonna say that again. The happiness that you want is easily accessible if you are looking for things to be happy about. And this is where so many people get it wrong in manifesting, or just in general, like if they're not aware that manifesting is real and how it works and all of that. If someone is generally optimistic, they are going to interpret the facts of their life optimistically in the majority of cases. If someone is generally pessimistic, well, then they are going to interpret the facts of their life in a negative light in the majority of cases, because that is what they have trained their brain to look for via imprinting the subconscious mind, which filters through the reticular activating system. Gonna go in with moisturizer. I just got the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I've been wanting to try this for a long time, but like, that's expensive. So I got it at the Sephora 20% off sale in the fall, and it's now February. And so that's what I usually do, is like I'll buy a bunch of skincare at a sale and then I'll use it for like 6 months. It's not always like that, but that's how I try to do. So we're gonna try this for the first time. I've never used it. Let's see. It's very thick. It does not. She's like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone, or blizzard, I guess, a Dairy Cream blizzard. Oh, she's pleasantly thick. Like that's pleasantly thick. Cool. Okay, well, I'm excited to try this. So if you want to inject more happiness into your life, literally the easiest way to do that is to just start looking for things to be happy about. Decide that you want to be happy. Decide that everything gets to work out for you to your benefit, and you're gonna start seeing everything that way. I don't care what happens to me. Like, I literally don't care what happens to me. It's working out for me. I have had so many objectively bad things happen in my life. There have been times where I didn't get what I thought I wanted. There have been times where I was passed over for a job. There have been traumatic experiences. I was sexually assaulted. There's been so many bad things, right? But I just don't see them that way now, right? I did. At one time I did, before I knew about the law of assumption, before I went to PA school and understood neuroscience, I did. I viewed them as very bad, and I was very traumatized by some things, and it was a whole mess. So I empathize with where you are, but I've made a conscious decision ever since then. This is a very pleasant user experience, and I feel like now that I know that how thick this is, like you run your finger across it and it just, I think it's gonna last a long time. I don't know, this might be worth the money, we'll see. This is a first impression, so who knows, but immediate first impression, this is a pleasant experience. I'm not mad at this. Put a little more on my neck. So it's literally a matter of when you decide that everything is working out for you, that's when everything starts to work out for you, period. Because it's a perspective shift, and also you're imprinting your subconscious mind that things are good, and therefore when you observe your reality, your reticular activating system is the filter that every sensory information comes through, with the exception of smell. So sight, sound, taste, touch, all of that comes in and is interpreted and filtered by the reticular activating system according to your beliefs and what is important to you in this moment. Like I said earlier, if you're buying a car, you're gonna start seeing that car everywhere because it thinks that that's important. That has nothing to do with a belief system, right? And then next we're gonna go in with the CeraVe Skin Renewing Eye Cream with peptides. The purple one is way better than the blue one if you're going for an eye cream. I actually feel like this makes a difference. I don't know. Eye creams are just moisturizer, but you know, this one has caffeine, I believe, which is useful. Oh, it doesn't say on the back here, but I want to say this one has caffeine and peptides, but I really like it. I don't really get down with most eye creams, but if you love an eye cream, definitely give me a recommendation, because I always enjoy trying new skincare. So if you are really stuck on interpreting some facts of a situation as negative in your reality, and you're like, I don't know, like there's no way that I can see this as something positive, then the best thing to do is to remove your attention from the negativity. That may be really difficult depending on what it is, but every time the thought comes up that is negative, and I just did a video on the default mode network, which is what is responsible for our intrusive thoughts, so you can go check that video out as well. And this is the Medicube Booster Pro. I've been experimenting with this because I love skincare devices and skincare is fun, so that is what I'm using. The best thing you can do is to take your attention away from the negativity. Your brain will forget about things the longer you do not call attention to them. And so if you're really struggling to flip the thought, or if considering it to be a positive situation, like that benefits you in your life, is just like, that's a no-go for me. Okay, you still have to discipline your mind. That you're not getting away from that. That has to happen. But the best thing that you can do in those cases is to discipline your mind to not focus on it. And how do you do that? The brain can only really focus on one thing at a time. What you have heard about multitasking is incorrect. The brain can switch back and forth very quickly, but it is singularly focused. So if you replace it with a thought about something else that you would rather experience, or take your mind off of it by watching cat videos or a comedy show or calling your parents or your sibling or your best friend, those will all absolutely overtake the mind's attention and take it off of the negative thing. And then if you are not at the point of your manifesting journey yet where you see the benefit of not having self-pity, then keep watching manifestation content, because the more you see other people not wallowing in their suffering, the more you're going to realize that happiness is a choice that you can choose in any moment by looking for things to be happy about. You can literally give yourself happiness even in the midst of devastating times, even in the midst of very difficult situations. You can find something to be happy about if you choose. Is it difficult? At first. It's possible that it's difficult at first. And the reason for that is just because your brain is so used to doing things a certain way that it can feel a little uphill to do it a different way at first. But because manifesting is just the natural function of the brain, if you understand how you can manipulate your brain deliberately, then you understand why persistence is necessary. Then you understand that every perspective will change if you persist with a new perspective. Every belief you have can change if you persist with new thoughts. It's just literally how the brain works. You pave new neural pathways, you strengthen them with repetitive thought. And if you can find proof about it, go find proof, because that's an even faster route. And I don't mean proof for yourself that you've done it or could do it. I mean proof that other people can do it, or that it's possible. Find yourself as many examples of how it's possible as you can, and your brain will believe it faster. For example, if you think it takes a long time to become a millionaire, or you think that like you have to become a millionaire based on your work output, and that's a belief that's difficult for you to change, then you need to go find every possible way that people have become millionaires in the past and challenge your belief about it. Just giving your brain the opportunity to see something different is enough to cause doubt in a negative belief. So for example, with the millionaires, people win the lottery all the time. People get generous gifts from random rich people. People, you know, you're like third cousin twice removed may die and leave you their entire fortune. There's overnight social media success. There's so many ways that you can become a millionaire quickly that are not tied to your work output. So you need to just find examples and challenge your brain. If you do these things that I'm talking about, then it's going to be very easy for your brain to get on board with the idea that everything is working out in your favor. It does not have to take very long to change this belief or to adopt this belief. It doesn't have to take very long, but you do need to actually persist with choosing your interpretation of the facts of your life as beneficial to you. That's all that any of us does. Any of us who understand manifesting and teach manifesting content, we just deliberately make choices about the truth of our reality, that the facts of our reality, the circumstances that happen to us, cannot shake the truths that we choose, period. If I want to date somebody, I'm gonna date them. I don't care what the facts of the situation look like. I've had experiences where I wanted to date somebody and like, not because of me, like not because of 3D actions that I took, but like they have whole ass gotten divorces and then pursued me. And it's not because I was trying to drive a wedge into their relationship, right? It's because I just don't believe in any hurdles in any 3D circumstances getting in the way of me having what I want. So that is that. That is exactly how you begin to see everything that happens to you in your reality as benefiting you, even if you don't necessarily have that belief already. Even if you are going through some very difficult circumstances in this moment. And I will link all of the skincare that I used down in the description box in case you want to check any of it out. Some of them will be Amazon affiliate links, and I do disclose that in the description. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, and I know you did, please do interact with the video, like, share, comment, subscribe so that YouTube knows it's valuable and they will send it out to more people so that we can all take the woo-woo out of manifesting. I will see you in the next one. Bye.